Kanye walks into the studio for fun. At Kanye's level, with the Grammys, the audience, and the legacy he has built, it's almost impossible for the studio to remain a place of pure enjoyment. At some point, everything changes. Expectation management, brand protection, commercial calculations. Most major artists go through it. They don't stop making music, but the reason they make it changes. There's strong evidence that this transformation never fully happened to Kanye. On almost every album, one of the most interesting yet least known artists of that era somehow ends up in Kanye's studio, and the list is much longer than most people realize. Arca, when she joined the Yeezus sessions in 2013, she was still a relatively unknown name in experimental electronic music. Justin Vernon. Bon Iver was respected, but largely disconnected from hip-hop. To most people, he was just the bearded guy making folk music in a cabin. James Blake. Post-dubstep was still a niche genre, and Blake had only released his debut album. Kid Cudi, before almost anyone knew who he was. Chief Keef, before Chicago drill had fully reached the mainstream. Teyana Taylor. Kanye gave her one of the most memorable songs on the Life of Pablo. What do all of these artists have in common? Not commercial value. When Kanye invited them into the room, none of them had massive audiences. Some were barely known at all. You can't explain this through business logic. Business logic says the opposite. Bring in artists who are already huge. Combine audiences. Minimize risk. Kanye has spent decades doing the exact opposite. As a megastar. So why? Because he wants to hear that sound. Because he wants to be in the room with those people. Because not knowing what might come out of a session excites him. The goal isn't success. The goal is the process of making music. You can see this most clearly in his studio culture. Justin Vernon spent weeks in Hawaii, not just recording vocals, but helping discover where songs could go. James Blake shaped instrumentals, added synthesizer textures, and programmed drums. Chris Martin helped build hooks inside the studio. Nobody knows beforehand what they'll contribute, not even Kanye. That uncertainty isn't a flaw in the process. It is the process. And that's where the paradox appears. From the outside, Kanye seems to have one of the biggest egos in music. Inside the studio, you see the opposite. He starts without knowing the outcome. He lets the process take control. Curiosity becomes more important than ego. That's why he can think outside genres. That's why he consistently discovers the most interesting voices of each era. I think the best way to understand Kanye is through those feature lists, but not by asking who worked with whom. Instead, ask, why is this man still so curious? Because the studio is still a place of discovery for him. And being able to preserve that mindset under this much pressure, hate, might be the most underrated achievement of his entire career.